Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of Talk Exchange. Today we have with us President Bob Bochi and his wife, President-elect and Club Member of the Year, Diane Bochi, with the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, Ohio. And they talk to us today all about their community projects, how they have grown their club into the amazing organization that it is today, and some of the keys, including how to be well established in the community, the importance of their projects, and the key to keeping members engaged. So it's a great episode full of awesome information. We hope you enjoy this one. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
Welcome to Talk Exchange. I'm Tracy Edwards, CEO of the National Exchange Club.
And I'm Christy Lindahl, Director of Communications.
You know, this is such a fun time of year because we're getting revved up for the National Convention, which is in Omaha, Nebraska this year.
Ma'am. Omaha.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it. I know you are too.
Yes, ma'am.
And getting people registered and all that good stuff. And we're giving people a taste of what they're going to see there by letting them kind of get a sneak preview of some of the seminar presenters.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, Andrew does such a great job working with our presenters and freshening the topics from year to year.
Definitely.
And I'm really excited to bring these people to our attendees this year.
I agree. And, you know, it's fun, too, because Andrew can keep an eye on the clubs that are doing things really well. Maybe the clubs that have turned things around. We both have personal experience as being members of this club. Andrew and I do. So we've seen firsthand the impact and the changes that under one person's leadership, the significant difference you can have.
Absolutely. And I have to preface our introduction by saying the passion for this organization that oozes from these people is incredible.
Absolutely.
Inspiring.
Absolutely. So today we're excited to have with us from the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, Ohio, President Bob Bochi and his wife, President-elect and Club Member of the Year, Diane Bochi. Welcome, Bob and Diane.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're excited to be here.
We're excited to have you, and you've both been invited to present at a seminar so that you can talk to other clubs about how you made these impactful changes happen in the club that really took a club that was kind of at a stalemate where people weren't feeling excitement or enthusiasm. There wasn't a lot of energy. People didn't want to bring guests to the club meeting. And you really turned it around and created a lot of excitement and enthusiasm doing a lot of projects. We want to learn about that. But first we want to hear, I know Bob's been a longtime member. Bob, tell how you got involved in Exchange and about when that was.
Oh, I retired in '09, and about a year and a half after that, I joined Greater Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, and have been involved ever since.
Yeah, well, and you're the person that I tell people about when I use the story to look for young, newly retired people because, you know, you joined when you retired at a pretty young age, right? And you had then free time, money to do something with, and wanted to give back and get involved in the community.
And that was the key. I had a very good life so far, and I wanted to give back to the people that helped me in the community.
Really nice. And I know from the start, Diane was with you. We met her, had fun with her, got to know her at all the projects, but just recently officially joined, right? Tell us how that happened.
That's exactly right. I felt when Bob joined, I was still working and I was still very busy. And then I had an aging parent that I was helping. And then things change. Life just changes. And after the convention last year, we were so excited to come back to the club. And I told Bob, I wanted to help him make some changes. And I said, I knew that I needed to become relevant. And so in order to become relevant, I need to become a member finally, instead of, as I always told everyone, I was Bob's number one volunteer.
You absolutely were.
So,
and, you know, that's another good point too, Diane. You're a great example of what Christy and I talk about all the time, which is it's not a person's age that clubs should be looking for. It's a person's life stage. As you pointed out, you had some things going on in your life, and when the time was right, you decided to join.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's important too. And I remember a conversation that you two and Andrew and I had after the annual banquet at last year's convention, and Bob said, I'm going to turn this club around. I want us to earn all the awards. And that was really the driving force, because if clubs are earning awards or going for the awards, they're doing things, right?
Yes.
They're conducting projects, making an impact in the community, and you sure have done that. So tell us, when you got back from convention, you had in your mind, we're going to do these things, earn awards. How did you do that? What was next?
What it was we wanted to be a leader in a district. We saw some clubs in a district that were doing great things and getting a lot of the awards and stuff like that. And we decided that we can do that. There's no reason why we can't. And so it started with some new member, while reviewing all the projects and donations we made over the last year and deciding which ones were relevant and which ones we needed to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And so we added some to that. And that was the first part of it. And then we set some goals for the year. So like you said, all the awards, we want to win them all.
Yeah.
We don't want to win one or two. We want to win them all. And that was part of the first couple of meetings, just organizing different chairs for different committees. Just a little change up. We had a head table at our meetings instead of having the president and vice president, sit back with the group. We had them at a head table, so everything was addressed to the head table, and then dispersed from there. That was just a few things.
Those few things though really made a difference. It just, I think, elevated the club. And
you're restructuring the culture of your club, and that's exactly what has to happen when you're going to strengthen a club.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we also knew that we needed to raise community awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're in a suburb of Toledo, where the headquarters is, when we talk about Exchange, no one seemed to know who we were. So we set out to also change that through our projects. So
Absolutely.
We gave a lot of thought to the projects and how could we bring community awareness along with that.
Well, I like what you did. I like what Bob did. If I can just say too, you made an intentional decision to not just write checks, right, to every organization that came along that wanted money. You wanted to establish a real partnership, a mutually beneficial relationship, right?
Yes, like I say, we joined a chamber too, which I was a little bit hesitant about. And then we joined and we met a lot of business people in the community, and a lot of those people didn't know who we were too. So it's just a growing process. We met so many nice people in the chamber. It was really a good venture on our part.
And very valuable connections. I said, at first I thought, oh, maybe we'll try to recruit some members. But then I started realizing these people are busy working, and a lot of them don't want to do community service projects or maybe have the time. So then I started looking at it like, okay, these are people that can help us with our projects, and we can form relationships with them, and all while working to get the name Exchange out and about in our community.
Yeah, you met them where they are, where they are in their life at this point. How can they be beneficial? How can they give back in a way that suits them?
Well, definitely. And a real key here too is just, honestly, your presence and your vibe that you have when you go to these events, because we go to a lot of these events, we see a lot of people at events, and you don't just blend into the wall. You're not there for the food, you're there to really meet people and create relationships, and you're really well established and well known in the communities, and that's been so helpful to the club too.
Yeah, and from where I sit in the communications department, it's been fun to see,
Yes.
your name coming up in my Google alerts for news articles or, shares on Facebook, that sort of thing. It's been exciting.
Absolutely.
And I can see some of those partnerships that you've built simply through the projects, and then the next project and the subsequent project. The growth has been obvious from every angle.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the successful projects. Really exciting things going on. Talk about building great community awareness. We've had some really high-profile projects. Why don't you talk a little bit about those?
Okay, well, we did a few of in all the categories: Americanism, youth, community service, child abuse prevention. We did like a Buffalo Wild Wings. We did a house and vet project there where you get so much money back. We put some boots out on the table. and people were putting money in the boots just to house. And we told them that's what we're going to do, is house a vet that day, and we did. So it was really a fun project.
Mm-hmm.
We did honor flight, 250 cards for honor flight. They have mail call at the end of it, and we made up 250 cards for the 3 honor flights, so they got mail from us thanking them for their service, and they were all handwritten by our club.
Mhm.
So that was
And I also saw the need that we needed to bring child abuse prevention to the forefront in the community. In the past, we had made donations or we were doing things, but we never did anything community-wide. So that was kind of one of my passions when I joined. How could we make a difference? So, we started with going to the mayor's office, asking for a proclamation, and asking if we could tie ribbons on all the light posts down the main street for a mile. If we could put up signs, banners, whatever we could do to bring awareness to the forefront. So that was kind of one of the passions I had. And so we formed a committee, and I just asked for volunteers, and everybody was excited. So by forming the committees and asking people to join in, I think they just really felt engaged and a part of the club and just wanted to do things. As Bob spoke about the honor flight cards, 250 cards seemed like a kind of a daunting process to think that you were going to actually handwrite. So I divided the cards out, and when it came time to distribute them, people were asking for 50 and 75 cards to sign. They were so excited. And then we did invite someone from the honor flight to come and speak and accept the cards. And so that was kind of
a good finish.
A good finish to that project. So we tried to be thoughtful about bringing speakers in and tying the projects together, helping to make things make sense.
And then we did the Freedom Shrine with Fassett Middle School. And that was like almost a year project, getting it together, getting the documents down here, figuring out how we're going to put it up. And Dean Davis, one of the local artists here, did a fantastic mural behind it. It's one of the most beautiful flags I've ever seen. And we dedicated it to the 300 students that were in 7th, 8th grade there. And they were great. It was a great presentation. They were excited about it. The students got to talk about it afterwards on TV and stuff. And it was fun.
Invited the dignitaries, anybody we could think of, the news media. We were in the newspaper. Bob was on 2 TV stations interviewed. So
you did a great job,
the
Bob.
name exchange to Toledo.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's so great. Mm-hmm.
She's got her flag project. That was her idea.
Well, then I was, when I go to convention and I would sit and listen over the years and hear about the healing fields and all of these things. And it sounded like a really big project because our club is not a big club. We're a rather small club. But the 26 historic flag display popped up on Colonial Flags brochure. So I ordered some brochures and we started thinking about it. And I told Bob, I said, hey, we could move this around the area and we'll really get the name exchange out there.
I like the way Diane thinks.
Yeah.
And that too, it's pretty costly to buy the 26 flags, and we're a smaller club. So I said, well, how about if we get sponsors for it when we move it around? And the club bought into it, and we ended up breaking even with this project. So that was wonderful. I think we have 10 locations that we're going to put it up at. We recently had Jeep Fest downtown. We added that. We're going to have an indoor display there.
Nice.
And they estimate 100,000 people are going to go through that display. So 100,000 people are going to see the flags and maybe recognize our name after that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And that flag project has been so fun to see it move around the area, and it gets attention everywhere it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It truly does. It truly does. I did, I think the last one, I decided not to put it on the exchange member page. I decided to put it on our community news page.
Great idea.
And I had some photos, and then, just told people, hey, drive by this location, see the flags. And I had over 60 responses.
Wow.
And I looked at the likes and the responses. I only knew maybe 2 or 3 people.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I'm like,
Nice.
so our name exchange
Got out there.
reached that many more people in the community. And I thought, well, maybe they're not going to join the club, but if we say exchange, they're going to know, hey,
Yes.
they had those flags.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys were just igniters. You know,
Definitely.
you have all these good people with good hearts to work with. They just needed a spark.
Definitely.
You're exactly right. That's all it needed was just a little bit of enthusiasm, and it caught on. It was contagious, and people are like with the flags. It takes us about an hour to set them up, but people are volunteering. Where can I help? When can I do it? When can I do this? And it's like, wow, this is great.
Right. So you've had a couple big things go on. What do you think is the key long term, moving past these big events? What do you think will be the key to keeping members excited and engaged?
I think it'll be my wife taking over
Yeah.
the club because
Oh, Diane, he always speaks so very highly of you. He does.
Oh, that's nice.
she'll come up with 5 or 6 more projects for
True.
next year.
She's going to put you to work.
Well,
I don't doubt
I know.
that.
I said at our banquet just the other day, if we could take our shoes off, you would see just exactly how big of shoes I have to fill.
A good one.
He has really done a great job. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how can I top this? How can I keep this going? But I'll just keep using the tools in the toolbox. I keep thinking about who's a member in the club. What associations do they have? If they're retired, where did they work? How can we engage more people? What other projects can we bring? I'm always, just trying to think about what's the next project.
In the way, like when I recruited a lot of the people there, I asked them what their passion was, what they really want to accomplish in their community, what they really want to do, what their heart says, this is what I feel for. And I said, well, bring it to the club and we'll do something with it. I mean, 99% of the time, if they've got an idea and they want it, that's their passion. Let's go with it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like what Diane said too, and it would be cool to see every club start their year out that way by saying, what can we do to top what we did last year, right?
Absolutely.
Gives you a challenge, but also something to be excited about and something to
Yeah.
work toward.
Yeah, so, Bob, your year was just really the launch pad for what's coming, and Diane's going to take us into the next year, and we'll see what
Definitely.
happens.
Yes, and I think our vice president-elect or our president-elect, I think she is very excited too.
Definitely.
Yes. And last club meeting, I just did, I put out a member survey, and that was part of earning my Distinguished President-elect Award. 'Cause
Nice.
we're earning awards this year.
Yes.
But I created my own survey. I off of the one that's on the national. The one on the national was maybe just a little bit too much for our club members, so I picked and chose, and I had some really great feedback. So now I know where to place people in, what their passions are, and form new committees and get them in the right place so that they feel valued and excited also. And hopefully they bring new ideas too.
Absolutely.
Another thing is what the last meeting we had 18 out of 25 people there. Normally we have 8 or 10 of the same people. We had 18 out of 25, and like 3 of those were out of town.
Great.
The ones that were missing. So the meetings are lasting longer than our hour. Everybody's hanging around talking about what we're going to do and stuff. And it's kind of nice. We're almost outgrowing the room we're in.
That is true. That is true. So what do you see as the future? And I guess I wanted to ask too, you do have some new people joining. And you mentioned the key to getting them involved is asking them what they're passionate about. And we will say that you have a lot more guidance to share. So for those of our members who are traveling to Omaha for the national convention, you'll have a chance to learn a lot more because these are great ideas for how to help a club. What do you think is the key to helping any club that may be just at that point where they've lost their energy and excitement, but they're looking to get it back and they want to achieve some good things? What do you think is the first thing they should do?
Well, like I said, the passion. What is your passion? Everybody's got something like child abuse prevention, just getting the area cleaned up. One of the gentlemen was feeding the kids in East Toledo when during the weekends when they didn't get the meals at school and stuff like that. So we took that to another level, and then he ended up opening up a food pantry with that because he got excited about it, and we did things with him. So it's just, you got to talk to the people that you're in your club and see what makes them tick or what makes them go. And I think developing that really helps.
Sure.
I think also doing the review of the projects. I think that was very helpful. You received a lot of feedback on what projects were working, what weren't, were they interested in, and just making all of that work. What can we think of some new projects? How, reaching out to club members and to the community. And now that we're making more contacts in the community, we're able to reach out more. Something else we also did is there's a few members, because of scheduling or whatever, are not able to attend meetings, but we sought them out, would where they work. One works at a bank, so we would stop in and talk with them. We had a new fundraiser stopped in, asked if they would like to sell these raffle tickets. And so they are so engaged and so enthused about everything that's going on. And we have one person that's not an early riser, but we keep that person informed about what's going on. And he's so excited. He actually told us the other day, I think I'm going to have to start waking up earlier and start coming to these meetings. You're all doing so much.
You're even getting people out of bed earlier. That's awesome.
I need that kind of inspiration.
Yes.
And we reached out, like the two banks that they have members. One of them was co-sponsoring our Youth of the Year and Student of the Month and all that. And then the other one co-sponsored the Freedom Shrine with us. So that really helped our budget a lot too. Okay. So we didn't spend as much money doing the Freedom Shrine, as much money with the Students of the Month. And they were real excited about it.
Yeah, they felt really engaged and valued and very valued, even though they aren't in attendance every week.
Sure. And what I'm hearing is that after you did your audit, you learned more about your members, but I have to believe that you also learned more about your community through that process.
Absolutely.
Because we all have a different set of lenses for our community and what we've seen and what we know of the needs. So, yeah, I'm thinking outside the box now about how that could be beneficial in so many ways.
It really is important for clubs to get to know their communities and see what they need and what will be of value. Well, it's been so great talking to you both. We just admire and appreciate so much what you've done with this club, and it's a great example for all clubs. So I encourage everyone listening to register now to join us for the Omaha National Convention in July. Go to Bob and Diane's seminar to learn how you can elevate your club to the next level.
I mean, do you want to start singing Jack and Diane? That's it just keeps coming to mind, Bob and Diane.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna need time off to go to their seminar. Okay.
Then you can elevate your club. Is
That's
that
right.
Yeah, okay, good. We'll do that. Well, it's been so great having you both with us. Thank you for your dedication to Exchange and just helping to make this club awesome and elevating it even more. I can't wait to see what Diane does with her year next year.
Yep.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
That's right. Exactly. Well, to learn more about the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, please visit their social media, namely Facebook. And to learn more or find a club near you, please visit nationalexchangeclub.org. Thanks for listening to this episode of Talk Exchange.
Wow, thanks, guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you. That was a first.
You were
perfect.
flawless, honestly. That was great.